Hello, it's that time of the month again, last day of the month, and I've got another bot haul for you for the month of July. And when I look around at all the stuff I've got before me, it's a bumper haul this month, and I certainly didn't mean to buy as much as I did this month, because it's only 12 sleeps till TFnation, and I was honestly trying to not go as mad this month for buying stuff. I was trying to save a little bit of money to improve my my cash pot for going into TFnation, but yeah. When you see what I've got here, admittedly, there was a couple of items that I ordered last month which didn't turn up until this month, and that's part. So this haul looks a bit looks bigger than it actually is because of that. Because there's well, it's actually, how many is it? It's like 6 bots that I ordered last month that arrived this month. So if you take them out of the equation, then it's not so bad. But still, I always on these haul videos, I always count the bots that arrived, or the items that arrived within the period of that month, and I got 22 items this month. So this is going to be a long one. I've got some pretty amazing stuff this month, so let's get into it, shall we? Now, obviously I usually kick things off on the 1st of the month, and on the 1st of July, a bot that I bought last month arrived, and I've done a review on him, and it was Titan's Return Decepticon clone bot Pounce from the Siege on Cybertron box set, who I bought off my mate Mr. Animatropolis off eBay for the princely sum of about 35 quid. He's fantastic, he's brilliant, I love this guy, he's amazing. He's got such a fun, simple transformation. He's great. And there we go. There he is in bot mode. Fantastic little bot. I'm really hoping. Obviously, they've recently announced the release of the twin pack with the other 2 that haven't been released yet, Wingspan and Cloudraker. I'm really hoping that toy's been released in the East, and I'm hoping that somebody will bring some along to TFnation, because I'd like to pick up the twin pack with the other 2. But he's fantastic little bot. I like him so much. He's on my top 10 bots of the year, so he was the first bot I got. And right, then I decided to go. I had heard that Comic Connections in Banbury was doing an event called Transformer Takeover, and the weekend before they'd actually had some artists there signing stuff, and Sid Beckett, Cino's Kibble, he bought a load of his bots along to sell, and I missed out on that because I was up at Bury, but I decided to go over to Comic Connections in Banbury on the following week and check it out, because the event is supposed to run over about like a 3-week period. So I went over there, and sure enough, there was this massive glass case in the middle of the room full of bots, and I thought, well, yeah, let's pick a few bits up. And I had some comics that I was looking to get hold of, or one comic in particular, and I wanted to see what bots they'd got. So I had a look through the case, and it was kind of difficult because there was a lot of stuff there that I already had, and again, stuff that I didn't really want, and it was kind of difficult to choose a bot to pick. But while I was looking round, I found something else. I found this. The sticker book for the Fansproject Retro Future Glacial Lord, and obviously I've put the stickers in. So, because there's the empty sticker sheets, and it's absolutely fantastic. It was great fun putting the stickers in. It's very much done in a faux sort of G1 animation style. They've done it, and obviously I got this because I got this guy. because I got the big man himself. I got Glacial Lord. Managed to pick this guy up earlier in... Did I get him this year or last year? Anyway, I managed to pick him up for like basically half price for about 120 quid off Chimung Mung. But I saw these at TFnation last year and I didn't pick one up. And I should have done. But he had a bunch of them in the shop. And this was about 10 quid, I think it was. And yeah, Glacial Lore is a fantastic thing that Fansproject did. Wasn't a huge success, but they put a lot of effort into making a fiction for these characters. And this book, I'm going to be taking it to TFnation to get it signed, because when you look at the people who did it, Sino Kibble was the writer. Sid Beckett. He's going to be on the Comic Connection stand at TFnation, and I'm going to get him to sign it, seeing as he had a hand in making this. So, yeah, that's going to be one thing I'm going to get signed at TFnation, which you will see in my next video as well, but I thought I'd mention it here. And also, while I was there, yeah, I was looking through the glass case and I saw something at the back in a box, and I thought, actually, I thought YouTuber made me do it. Transformers Beast Wars Neo Sabreback. Now, Bisto Yeti did a review on this character a while ago, and I saw it and I absolutely love the aesthetic on this guy in his robot mode. I mean, he looks like he's got like the headdress on and the skull down his chest, and he just looks like an Incan warrior, from South America. Looks absolutely fantastic. Transforms into a Stegosaurus. He's got this ridiculous weapon which looks like an exotic flower when it's opened out. Fantastic little bot. He was was it 20 quid? Yeah, so I bought him. He was fantastic, and yet thank you Bisto for giving me the inspiration to buy this guy. YouTuber made me do it and all that. And then I was looking for a particular comic that was coming out. I get all my other comics from Spartown Comics in the centre at Leamington Spa, but there was another one-shot comic that had come out recently that I wanted to get my hands off, Transformers Salvation. They didn't have any on the shelf, but when I asked at the counter had they got it, they went around rummaging in the back and they found Transformers Salvation. Yeah, basically it's Triptychons in this, the Dinobots are in this, well, not Grimlock, but the other Dinobots, and Bludgeon's in it as well. So, is it Bludgeon? So yeah, some interesting stuff goes on in this. The art style is... I'm not really a fan of this particular sort of art style, but it's a good comic, and hopefully it will lead to something else later on, even though they kind of say, they've wound up the Dinobots on Cybertron, but there is a chance that they have killed one of them off, but there's a hint that he might come back as a zombie, but we'll have to see about that. But that was kind of interesting. So yeah, bought those bits at Comic Connections on the 1st. Now, going forward to Wednesday the 5th, pre-order, the other bots that I pre-ordered last month from Kapow. For the first time ever, I decided to pre-order a complete wave of figures, and I wanted to get the Titans Return Wave 5 Voyagers and Deluxes, and Kapow was doing them at a reasonable price, so I ordered the lot and they came in on the 5th of July. So I got Blitzwing, and he's brilliant. Was tempted to get the Megatron version of this mold because it does work as a G1 Megatron in bot mode. But I really wanted this guy, and this guy, the colours just work amazing. The plane mode's fantastic. The tank mode's not too bad, and the robot mode is pretty good. It's got some unusual engineering on it, but it's a good bot. It looks amazing. Glad I got him. And of course, if you've got him, you need to get the other triple changer. So I got Octane, or is it Octone? Yeah, again, didn't get the Optimus Prime version of this mould. Decided to get this one because it's the proper version of the mould. They've remoulded it in a few places, especially the plane mode looks more like a passenger jet than some sort of like crazy space rocket military plane like the Optimus one does. Fantastic. Really does look like Octane. I'm calling him Octane. It's Octane. It's so Octane. It's not our fault that, you know, Hasbro didn't trademark the character names back in 1984 when they came up with them, and over the years other people have trademarked the names and they've lost them, so they have to use something else. That's not our fault, is it? So, yeah, so I got him. He's fantastic. And then, obviously, the Deluxes. Then we got Twin Twist. Now, I hadn't got Titan's Return. At this point, I hadn't got any of the Wave 4 Deluxes, so I hadn't got Top Spin. So I thought I'd get Twin Twist. And fantastic little bot. I mean, the way the arms fold, you know, the elbows and the fists fold into the arms, then the little panel folds up and it tucks into the body. Absolutely fantastic engineering on this. Bloody brilliant. And on a sort of a side note, Bisto Yeti did a review on his G1 top spin, and that gave me then the impetus to fix my little top spin up. So I've restored my top spin as best I can. So yeah, there we go. We've got the G1 and this guy had to do a number of repairs to him. I had to replace, because this bar was missing, so I got some plastic harder and glued it across the bottom of his feet. Yeah, the wheels were missing from here, so I made some little wheel things to go. Tightened up his joints because his joints was all loose. I've lubricated the motor mechanism so it runs freely. Jump starter mechanism doesn't work that well on it. It's difficult to get it to clip down because the catch doesn't catch properly. And you know, even if you do get it to, you know, pull back and run along, it just goes arse over tit every time. Repro labels, took him apart, cleaned him, put repro labels on. If you're going to take one of these apart to clean it, these springs on the legs are an absolute arse to get back in. They are a pain in the butt ski. But you know, he looks really nice. I mean, he's got faded, and the plastic's yellowed quite a bit around the top of the torso and around the legs, but he looks a whole lot better, and he just looks a lot smarter, because this guy was a complete and utter wreck before I started, so I just thought I'd throw that in. So yeah, got top spins, and then now Misfire. Wanted this guy for one reason: scavengers, IDW scavengers. If you've not read the IDW More Than Meets the Eye, and you've not read the scavengers, go read them now. They're fantastic. They're this ragtag bunch of Decepticon losers, no-hopers who have just got together. And Misfire is probably, I wouldn't say he's the leader, but he's one of the main, you know, characters of the bunch. He's a complete and utter joker. He's always got a silly grin or a smirk on his face, and he's always laughing and joking about. And this is a great rendition of that character. It's fantastic, but it has a couple of little things. Yes, it's a rework of the Trigger Happy mold, and Trigger Happy, as we know, is probably the best Titan's Return Deluxe figure ever. The engineering on it's fantastic. This guy is a rework of that. Not quite as good transformation wise. Because they've modified the transformation a bit, and it's just not quite as good. When he's in ship mode, you can see his hips sort of sticking out at angles at the back, and the colour. They did this with Trigger Happy as well. The G1 had quite a dark blue, and then they gave the Titan's Return toy a lighter shade of blue. They've done the same with this pink. The original toy had a darker shade of pink, and it was more of like a maroon colour, and this is more of a mauve. I mean, I can compare it because I've got the G1 here, and you know, you can see. Look at the colours. You can see there's a definite difference there. I mean, obviously the G1 had the legs hanging out the back as well. But yeah, and obviously, like I said, because this guy's a joker in the comic, I wish they'd have put like a silly grin on his face. That would have really made this toy more than it actually is. Still a great toy. Still would have bought it. Glad I bought it. I just think It's not as good as Trigger Happy. Not as good. And obviously, finally, Windblade. Yeah, I got Windblade. No, I thought I'd get this version of it. I've got the RID one. Still haven't got a Generations one. I'm hoping to get the Takara one, but you've seen the prices that thing goes for now. Yeah. Again, transformation on this, lazy. Very lazy, especially on the legs. The legs sort of half fold up and they're sort of sticking out the back of the jet mode. They don't fit in flush to the back of the fuselage, and it just looks odd. Yeah, very lazy transformation. I think the Titans Return Deluxes have reached the peak of engineering, and now they're sort of going downhill again. So, or we're still gonna get the odd bot that's not quite as good as the others, and this is one of those. It looks great. I mean, she's got quite large chest plating as this version of Windblade, I will say that. Good head sculpt, looks great. Again, slightly lazy transformation, but yeah, I got it. It's all right. That's another Windblade. So yeah, those was that figures that came in. So that's the bots I got last month out of the way. So now we can move on to the stuff I bought this month. And at the beginning of the month, on the 1st, I went onto Amazon and I ordered 2 the last night Megatrons. I ordered the Voyager and I ordered the leader class. I paid 35 quid for the Voyager, and he arrived on the 6th, and oh my god, this thing is gorgeous. I keep saying every time I comment on somebody's videos that this guy is some kind of splendiferous, because he is amazing. I mean, he just the feel of him in the hand. I mean, this plastic finish they've got, this metallic finish, it's got like a silky smooth texture to it, and it just, even though it's absolutely riddled with molded detail, it feels so great in the hand, and it's absolutely solid. I mean, the only bit is that's a bit floppy on the back. It's a shame it doesn't peg in, but that's the only floppy bit on it. I mean, nothing, absolutely rock solid. The aesthetic's fantastic. The transformation is fun. Who'd have thought that, eh? A new Transformer toy that's actually fun to transform. You know, you look at him, you think he'd be quite complex, but he's not. He's really fun. He's got a Boston sword. Fantastic figure. Again, love this guy. Fantastic. Easily one of the best movie toys they've ever made. He's on my top bots of the year list, along with Pounce. So I've been struggling to find bots worthy going on my top bots of the year list, but this guy's a shoo-in. He's just awesome. He's just awesome. If you haven't got one, why not? Get him. He's awesome. He's fantastic. Right, so that was the 6th. The 8th, went uptown, got a comic. To All R1 issue 11. I've heard a rumour that All R1 is finishing with issue 12. I'm not 100% sure about that. And if that is so, I'm a bit disappointed, because this represents current events on Cybertron. You know, things that are going on in Cybertron. It's all the Starscream's in control, and all the other, you know, he's brought in all the council of all the other you know, colonies have come in. They've just had the invasion of these zombie titans to deal with, and now Starscream's losing grip on his power, and he's doing bits behind the scenes to try and ensure his survival. But yeah, I really hope this doesn't, you know, they don't wind this up completely. But apparently it's going to finish in the next issue. But there's a new thing coming out shortly, or in the next month or so, called First Strike, Transformers First Strike. And it's going to be like Revolution. It's going to be spread over all the other, you know, Hasbro sort of IP comics, all, you know, like you know, G.I. Joe and Micronauts and all that. It's going to be spread over all them like Revolution was. And but this time it's going to be centered on Cybertron. So instead of, you know, robots and other people invading Earth, it's now other people and robots invading Cybertron, I think. So I don't know whether to get it, but I'm going to have to do a bit more investigation into it before I decide to go with it. But yeah, this thing's, you know, it's getting interesting, but is coming to an end, sadly. And then there was that. Right, now, the 10th of July. Did a review on it. Prerequisite KTRT bots. So we've got Patron and Skid, no S, and these guys go together to form Patron S, and you can also combine them with Direct to form Super Patron, which is a massive combiner, very colourful, decently articulated for what it is. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. I wasn't going to get him, but I did. Skids is pretty neat. Yep, so I got him. So that was like one purchase. This counts as one toy because they came in the same box, but it's 2 bots, and I like to buy 2 KTRT bots a month. So there's me 2 bots for the month. Okay, right. Now, there was a bit of a gap now until the next arrival, or the next thing I bought, which was on the 20th, and went uptown to Spartown Comics, and I bought Optimus Prime number 9. Now, if you've seen Bisto Yeti's latest video, he did a bit of a review on this, and yeah, it's Sideswipe is pretty much nearing brain death in a test tube, and this is kind of them sort of going into his head and trying to, you know, make peace with him, I suppose, before he dies. And RC and Sunstreaker are there, and it's kind of depressing what happens, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens to RC after this, because it's deeply affected her, the knowing that she's losing or has lost Sideswipe. So I'll have to see what happens there. And right, so then I was off that week. Yeah, I was off that week, the 17th to the 21st, and on the Friday, the 21st, I decided to go out on a little toy hunt, because when I used to do these toy hunts back in 2015, every month, around about the sort of like the 19th to the sort of like 22nd, that sort of weekend slot, on the Friday afternoon after work, I would go over Coventry and do like a toy hunt. I'd go to Smith's, Toys R Us, and probably drop in at a couple of B&M home stores, and maybe even go back into Coventry Town Centre and go to like Forbidden Planet. And maybe if I was still desperate, I could check out the supermarkets back in Leamington, or some of the supermarkets over Coventry, to see what they'd got. And I used to do that every month, but this year I haven't been doing stuff like that. I haven't been bothering with, you know, things I used to do back then. But I thought, well, since as I'm off this week, I might as well just do it and go and see if I can find these, you know, Titans Return Wave 4 figures. Didn't have a lot of money. It was basically just some cash that I had hanging around that I'd just put in my pocket. Anyway, went up to Smith's, and they had all 5 of the Titans Return Deluxes. Only had enough money to buy one, so I got Topspin. I thought, well, I'll get Topspin because I've got Twin Twist, so I've got the pair of them now. And of course, obviously, I've got the G1. But I've also got Apex. Mech Ideas DCO1, is it? DCO or DCO3 Apex. I've got him. So this is the third party one. Now, Bisto said in his review that he was, you know, saying that this thing, and I think it's true, this thing makes these pretty much obsolete. Because if you're looking for some top, jump starters to go in your Wreckers lineup, these things are fantastic. They're not quite IDW accurate, but they're brilliantly modern engineered, fully articulated deluxe figures that just look perfect in your Wreckers lineup. So get these. And you go on eBay and there's still some of these really sad scalpers who are asking like 200 quid for the pair of these guys. There's some guy in France who keeps... I've got it on a search because I'm looking for Geminis. I'd still like to get Geminis if I can get one cheap enough, but the scalpers are still... They still think, oh, these things are super rare and everybody wants them and they've got a mega cult following and I can charge what I want for them. But who's going to buy them at, 200 fucking quid for the pair or £100 each? These guys are not worth that. They're worth probably, in my opinion, 40, 45 quid at the most. Maybe 50 at a push. But, yeah. Obsolete. So, right, where are we at? Now, 21st, obviously went on my toy hunt. When I got home, had a parcel waiting for me. Leader Megs. TLK Leader Megs. Yeah, bought him on the same day as I bought Voyager here. Now, there's this debate. Which one is better? Now, I wanted to hold my judgment on these two, or at least the Voyager, until I got the leader, till I'd experienced the leader to see what it was like, because there are still a couple of little things on the Voyager that I think could have been done better. Now this guy, he has got some improvements. He's got the little, yeah, he's got the little thing that does that. He's got that. What else has he got? He's got wrist swivels, which the other one hasn't got. But the engineering on this, I mean, the transformation's a little bit more complex, and it's not quite as intuitive or fun as the engineering on the Voyager. Also, mine, I don't know if you can see, it's got some very sloppy paint apps around here. They put this silver wash on things. You can see that big there's blotches of silver paint round there, look, see them? So they've blotched this silver paint round there and they splashed it on that and they've splashed it on this. It looks a little unsightly. It's got rubber parts. The other one hasn't. It's all solid plastic. This one's got like rubber crotch flaps and rubber bits on the front of this. And this is on a spring-loaded mechanism. And it's got on a hair trigger. It keeps springing open, and especially when you're transforming this thing keeps springing open all the time, and it's a pain in the arse. And also, I think something about the aesthetic on this guy. I mean, the legs, they're nicely moulded, but they're kind of like thick and chunky, and he's got a very wide crotch, very wide hips compared to the other one, and he looks, he's got this flat, crotch plate underneath, which is kind of obvious on this, and he's got this little gap here, which the other one hasn't got. And his legs just look, they look like a couple of tree trunks, gnarly tree trunks. Yeah, on the whole, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a good toy. This is a brilliant toy. It's fantastic. But another downer on it, it's supposed to be a leader class, right? When you compare it with leader classes of old, it comes up short. Combiner Wars Megs, TLK Megs is like a head shorter than other leader classes. So they've shrunk him down. Whereas Voyager Megs, he is exactly the same size as Dark of the Moon Megatron. Exactly the same size. Same as Age of Extinction Galvatron. He's the same size. So he's a solid Voyager. This guy is slightly shorter than a leader. Yeah. So, is he still a good toy? But is he worth 65 quid, which seems to be the going rate for him? I say not really. I was fortunate. I managed to get this guy for 45 quid off Amazon. Trouble is, if you look on Amazon now, he's gone up to like, 65, 70 quid. So you've missed that boat, unfortunately. I just got lucky. I just went on there and some seller was selling it for 45 quid, so I clicked on it. Unfortunately, they didn't have any in stock, and it had a long sort of delivery time on it. They said, oh, 4 to 5 weeks before you can get it. Fortunately, I got mine within about, what was it, 3 weeks from ordering it, so it wasn't too bad. So I only paid 45 for this. He's still a good toy. I'm still glad I got him, but this guy's the winner. This guy is the better toy. On the whole, this guy licks this guy. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Now, this next one. Kind of unusual. Anybody heard of this? Overwatch. It's a computer game by a company called Blizzard. It's been around for just over a year. It's a team-based competitive first-person shooter. It's got a bunch of really cool characters. It's a lot of fun to play. And I've been watching videos of this game on YouTube quite a lot over the last year or so. I've been watching, gameplay videos. I've been watching the animated shorts that Blizzard have done, which are absolutely fantastic, for introducing the characters. Lots of people have been doing fan art and comics and like little animated skits, and they're absolutely hilarious and really, really good to watch. And I like my first person shooters, even though I've not really been into my gaming since I became a Transformers collector, but I kind of wanted to have a go at this. So I bought it, managed to get it cheap, because in game they were still selling this thing for 50 quid and I wasn't going to pay that for it, but I managed to get it for 30 in the supermarkets. Haven't really played it much. I've only played a couple of the characters on sort of like against bots. I haven't played it against real players yet. Not really feeling it. I could probably, if I stuck at it, I could make it work, but at the moment it's not really working for me. However, if you know any of the characters from the game, you'll recognise this guy. Now this is DX9 Kaleidoscope K1 Freeman. It is their sort of third-party rendition of a character from this game called Bastion, and he's an Omnic. He's a robot who's a leftover from a war between the humans and the robots, and he was abandoned. He was abandoned in a forest. He was all overgrown with trees and moss, and then this little bird comes along, pecks away at his visor and brings him to life, and then he goes wandering through the forest. Where am I? And then all of a sudden he hears a woodpecker go on a nearby tree, and he thinks it's gunfire, and all of a sudden an automated defence system engages, and he turns into his gun turret mode, and he becomes a minigun, and he mows down a load of trees, and all of a sudden he wakes up from this automatic defence response, and he's looking around. Oh shit, what have I done? And then he wanders onto this plain, this big massive grassy plain. You can see like a great city in the distance, and he's walking along, and he hits something with his foot, and he looks down, and he finds the wreck of another droid that's been destroyed, and he plugs into its memory core, and then he's transported back to the battle between the Omnics and the humans, and it's a massive great battle. And then all of a sudden he's back to weapon mode, and he starts trouncing towards the city, and then the bird flies in and snaps him out of it, and they go back into the forest. And it's a fantastic animated short, and DX9's done a toy of it. It's totally unofficial. Now we always talk about this thing where third-party companies take they take this from this. They make this from, well, basically they made this from the comic. They made Apex from last Stand of the Wreckers design for twin top spin in the comics. And Tomy, Takara, Hasbro turn a blind eye to third-party companies. But this, oh, I've lost the bird. But this was this represents a product of Blizzard. It's a character from their computer game, and DX9 went ahead and made an articulated figure of it that does transform. It has 3 modes. It's a triple changer. It transforms into the turret mode, because there's his minigun. He also transforms into a tank, and unfortunately there's a bit of parts forming involved. You have to basically fit these massive rubberized tracks, and you have to swap the minigun out for a cannon. So there's a lot of parts forming involved to turn him into the tank mode, which in the game is his ultimate ability, where he, for so many seconds, he transforms into a tank and drives around and just one-shots people. This is one hated character in the game, because in his turret mode, he just sits there, he like camps in a corner and just mows people down with concentrated minigun gunfire. But I just wanted to get this because, one, I kind of like the characters in the game, and this represents one of them, and it's a richly detailed, transforming toy. So yeah, I got it. And DX9, I know, they get away with Hasbro and Takara making toys, richly detailed third-party renditions of characters from the Hasbro and Takara universe. I don't think Blizzard are going to take this quite so lightly, because they are a massive software company. They're huge. I've heard a rumour that they're talking to their lawyers about this. So I don't know. Maybe DX9 is going to cop some flack for taking this guy on, doing this guy. I'm glad I've got my copy of it, because DX9 might be asked to withdraw it from sale, or that the company might get, they might take out a lawsuit against them, and that's it. That'll be the end of DX9. Who knows? DX9 might get sued by Blizzard. That's just a theory of mine. It might not happen. Blizzard might, they might come to an agreement. I don't know, but yeah, they're doing it as part of this Kaleidoscope line. I don't know what it is. It's a brave new direction for DX9 to go in by creating toys based on other fictions. Don't know whether they're going to do any more. Don't know whether they're going to survive this one, but still, I got him. He's pretty cool. Kind of limited in articulation in a few areas, but great looking figure. Really heavy. I mean, the amount of die cast on him. I mean, basically every shiny chrome bit is die cast. He's got massive die cast hinges on his legs. He's got a die cast hinge on there. I was tempted to review this guy, but then I thought, nah, what's the point? So yeah, got him. DX9 K1 Freeman, or Overwatch Bastion. Right, and he arrived on the 25th, and something else that arrived on the 25th. Now this is a big one. This is a big one. Now I've gone on before in other videos about my old gang. These were the toys that I used to have as a kid, and I only had a small selection, and it wasn't all Puka Transformers. I had, I had some Diaclone figures. I had some spurious, Transformers, KOs, and a whole bunch of stuff. Now I've managed to get together, replacements for the majority of the toys I had as a kid, apart from one. And it took me a while to figure out exactly what it was. And at first I thought it was a Diaclone original, but then I learnt it's not the Diaclone original. What I had was the knockoff version. And I finally got one. Kingdam K06 Jet Robo, aka KO Diaclone Starscream. I have been after one of these practically since I started becoming since I first became a Transformer collector in May 2014. I've been after one of these. I mean, you look on the back, and it's actually got Diaclone stickers on the artist impression. They just ripped off. I mean, this is basically the Diaclone box. They've just changed the lettering on it. And the figure is, I mean, it's mostly complete, this one. It's got the styrofoam, and actually, I mean, just you can tell it's vintage because the smell of this thing, the smell of the box alone. I mean, it smells like a like the box that Jigsaw's came in the 1970s. It's got that odour to it. Now, he's in the pack. He's missing a couple of bits. He's missing the long missiles. I've only got the short missiles, and he's missing the pilot. And also, a lot of the decals are missing. The decals are on the robot mode, but they're really tatty, so I'm going to have to get some Repro Label Starscream decals for this guy. But he's there. And I mean, the thing I remember about the one I had when I was a kid, because you know the Takara one has got like the nose cone's made out of rubber. This one, it's hard plastic. That's how you can tell it's the fake. Also, the pegs on the wings on my one when I was a kid, because the plastic on this is quite hard, when you stuck the wings in and sort of rotated them around, it used to wear the pegs down and the wings kept falling out. And when I was a kid, I used to have to put sellotape round the end of the peg to get it to fit. Of course, now you can use super glue, floor polish, nail varnish polish to fix something like that. So, and when I was a kid as well, obviously because this wasn't a proper transformer, it didn't have any faction symbols, so on his wings I drew some faction symbols out of sticky back paper and stuck them onto the wings. It's the same as what I did with my Diaclone Browning that I had. This is the final piece of the jigsaw. This is the last member of my old gang that I need. This is it. This is the last one. I've been after one of these. I mean, I've seen them, even though it's a knockoff, it still goes for, you know, a lot of money. I've seen them going for well over 100 quid, but I managed to get this one for just under 80. It came from a guy in Italy. And there we go. Diaclone, KO Diaclone, or the Kingdam Starscream. Fantastic. Oh, I've been after that one. That's a biggie, that is. That is a biggie. So yeah, he arrived on the 25th as well. Right, last couple of bits. I mean, we're nearly up to 45 minutes. Yeah, I bought another couple of comics. Went to Spartown Comics, and I got Lost Light number 8 and Revolutionaries number 6. And this is another comic that's apparently going to be finishing soon. I've heard rumours this one's finishing at issue 8. These particular issues, nothing much interesting happens. Though I will say at the moment, these two characters here, Lug and I can't remember what her name is, they're getting an awful lot of character development and page time in the Lost Light since it started. And they're brand new characters. As far as I'm aware, they're brand new characters that were invented for the Lost Light by Mr. Roberts. I don't understand why he's giving them so much attention. As far as I'm concerned, they're nobodies. They're nothings. Why are they? I'm gonna have to. If I get a chance, I want to speak to Mr. Roberts at TFnation about this, because I don't get it. I don't get why these characters are so important to the plot of the comic. Right. So there was that, and the final bit. Yeah, this weekend just gone. Or, well, actually, it was yesterday. Sunday, the 30th. Now, I know TFnation's just around the corner. Should be saving money for it. But I found out that there was a Coventry Toy Fair on at the Sports Connection. And I wanted to go. Now, my finances for TFnation are pretty much, buttoned down. I don't know exactly how much money I'm going to be taking. And I can't really spare any more money out of my current account, but I thought, well, how can I get some money? And I thought, I know. So I went into my accounts and I creamed 50 quid off the top of my savings account. So I used that. Now, the Coventry Toy Fair is... It's a small toy fair. It's not like the NEC Toy Fair, which is the biggest toy fair in the country. It's only a small one. I went there before, and I got a few things... I can't really reach him at the moment. I got Beast Wars leader Megatron. I got the titanium Soundwave. I got half of Flywheels. And what else did I get? Oh yeah, I got that rescan Rescue Bots Optimus Prime monster truck. I only paid like 11 quid for those bots. So I was thinking, you know, I'll get lucky this time. So I went there, and I was filming some video when I went there, and because, well, actually I had a bit of a bust. I didn't find, there was a few Transformers there. There was one of those flip and change Bumblebees. There was one of those oversized one-step Bumblebees. There was hardly anything there of any interest. It was mostly, you know, like toy cars, model trains, and a few other, you know, sci-fi, you know, sort of toys, like some Star Wars stuff and a few Doctor Who bits and pieces. So that was that. So I came out of there, but I had a secondary game plan, because not 2 miles down the road you've got Smith's Toy Superstore. So I jumped in the car, drove a couple of miles up the road, went to Smith's. Now, I went to Smith's at that sort of toy hunt on the 21st, and they had all 5 of the Wave 4 Deluxes in stock for Titan's Return. And I thought, well, if I can go there, and I had 50 quid in my pocket, so potentially I could buy 2 more Titan's Return Deluxes. And if I bought them, you know, at Smith's, then there will be 2 figures that I won't need to buy at TFnation, because they were on my list of things I want to find at TFnation. So I went there, and I got in there, and I was looking, and in my local Smith's, the Transformers toy aisle has been compressed. You've got toys on one side, toys on other, the, you know, shelves that are expanding, and it's compressing the Transformers toy aisle. It's gone up. It's gone up. So it's like 5 shelves high, or 5 or 6 shelves high, and you know, the top 2 or 3 shelves, you know, they're way out of reach. You can't reach them. And there's a lot of there's a lot of Rescue Bot stuff. There's a lot of you know, those RID 3-step bisque things. There was loads of those. They had both the Leader Megatron and the Leader Optimus Prime for TLK for 65 quid each. And I noticed they'd got the Wave 2 one-step, you know, turbo changes in, but I wasn't there for that. I was there for Titan's Return Deluxe Wave 4s. I was looking. They had like the Wave 3 figures. And I thought, no, they must have the Wave 4 one. So I looked at the shelf that was out of reach, and I grabbed a little toy sword from an aisle nearby, and I was reaching up and trying to turn one of the boxes around, and then I thought, oh, look, there's one there. So I managed to get one down, and then I couldn't quite reach the other one, so I had to ask the assistant to come along and get the stepladder and go up and fetch it. And I got lucky. I managed to get Krok and Quake. Yes, been after these guys. Now, Krok, yeah, I've got Skull Smasher, so I don't need this mould, but I want this guy because, like Misfire, he's a fellow scavenger. So these guys are both part of the scavengers. So for 2 separate Titans Return waves, we've got 2 bots from the scavengers. Let's hope this continues, and we get a Spinister. And what we really need is a Fulcrum. We need a Fulcrum. We haven't got a Transformer of Fulcrum, but yeah, colours on this thing are amazing. I love the fluorescent yellow and this blue that's kind of like a purplish blue. It's really nice. And the black on him, it isn't black. It's kind of like a charcoal black. And you look at all these details on his chest. And the head sculpt's absolutely perfect. That's definitely Krok's head sculpt. I know you can't really see it here because my camera hasn't got a macro on it. He's fantastic. He's brilliant. So I'm glad I got him. And Quake. Now, I knew that the hardhead mould from Wave 1 was a really good mould. Everybody was raving about it. Some people were saying it was the best figure from Wave 1. Now, I knew the mould was good, but I didn't want to get the figure because I have a bit of a problem with Hardhead. There's something about Hardhead, he just doesn't work for me, and I can't bring myself to buy any of his toys, even though I have got one Hardhead. It's a third-party one, but it came in a 2-pack with something else, so I had no choice. I had to get it. But Quake. I see what they mean about the mould. This is a really brilliant mould. And Quake, I mean, he's marvellous. I love it when you have him dual wielding the gun like this. He just looks like a complete and utter badass. He looks hard as fuck with that gun like that. Nice head sculpt. Really like the face. Fantastic little figure. So, yeah. And in getting these 2 guys, yesterday, I don't need to buy them at TFnation, so I've effectively saved myself 40 quid at TFnation, because I bet you any money Titans Return Deluxes are going to be 20 quid at TFnation. They're going to be 20 quid. 35 for the Voyagers, 20 quid for the Deluxes. I reckon that's the price they're going to be going at. Doubtful whether you'll see them at anything less than that, but that's just my theory. So I got them, and I had a little bit of money left over, and there was one other thing I wanted to get. I've already got 2 TLK Megatrons this month. Might as well get me another one. This is the one-step Megatron, the Turbo Changer one-step. Now, I paid $12.99 for this, which is a lot of money for a one-stepper. But like all the other, well, practically all the other Megatrons, it just nails it. I mean, look at that jet mode. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's a one-stepper. Well, when they say one-step, it's actually a cheat. It's more than one steps. The transformation is... it just goes like that. You have to flip these feet down, and then you have to flip these wings round. So it's not really a one-step changer. But again, robot mode. Fantastic. Got a little bit of articulation on the arms. And because of the way the joints work, you can sort of fold them in a little bit. Looks amazing. Yeah. And yeah, so I've got 3 different TLK Megatrons. And he's got the same silky smooth texture to his robot mode like the other 2 have. He's brilliant. He's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to getting the Legion version as well when that comes out. Yep, so I got him, and here's the last bot I bought this month. So that's it. 50-minute video. I said this was going to be a big one. Yeah, so that's it. 22 items. I didn't spend as much money as I could have done this month. I wanted to save money. I did spend more than ideally. I mean, there was a couple of opportune times this month where I sort of got to one point. I says, right, that's it. I'm not buying any more bots this month. I'm not buying any more bots till TFnation. And yeah, something else came along, and I just bought some more. But yeah, I did really well. I got both of these guys. For, you know, and especially this guy, I got him for a really good price. Got the Titans Return Wave 2 Voyagers and Deluxes. Got some more KTRTs, and a bunch of comics, and oh yeah, baby, the final part of the jigsaw, the final old gang bot that I need to complete the set. So yeah, it was a brilliant haul this month. So yeah, and yeah, and that is it till TFnation. I will be, well, I will be ordering my KTRT bot tonight. In fact, just after midnight, I'm going to order my August KTRT bot, because there's reasons for it, because I'm hoping it will arrive in time for TFnation, because it's quite an interesting one. It's another combining toy again, and I'm tempted to bring it to TFnation if it arrives, or even do an unboxing at TFnation if it arrives just before I go to TFnation. I might unbox it at TFnation. I don't know. Just something to think about. But yeah, TFnation. I'm going to be doing another video next week sometime. Probably, maybe even week today. I might do it on the 7th. I'm not 100% sure. My next weekend sometime, I'm going to be doing another TFnation my obligatory TFnation pre-TFnation video, because I want to go into more details about my plans for the convention, and there's a few more details that have been released in the last week or so of things that are going on, like that official third-party figure that's coming out, and the list of traders that are going to be there, and the events list has been released. So yeah, it's all good stuff, and I will be talking about it again in probably about a week's time. So that's the next video to look forward to. I will see you then. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul I got this month, because it's a big one. I will see you next time. Ta-da.